Warning. The following show may contain some offensive language. Parental guidance is suggested. Some songs might contain material not suited for those under the age of 13.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And it is an awesome show today, I'm telling you. And I'm going to bring another young man on with me. Let me shut this down and see if I can't get this young man to join us real quick. Lester!
Yes, sir.
Yes, everybody. Les, I know a lot of people know who you are, but why don't you introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and give them a subject.
Well, my name is Les. Is the volume okay here?
Volume is fine.
Okay, yeah. DJ3M2, been here about 7 years on AIRradio.net. And, an amateur political pundit on Facebook. I'm one of those guys that piss off the Democrats and liberals. Well, not really doing it on purpose. It's just pointing out their hypocrisy on some issues.
Well, why don't you tell us what you want to rant about there, bud, and get started with it.
Well, what did I miss? Man, I hear I missed some good conversation. Oh, yeah. I just took my time getting online this morning, and anyways, what'd you guys go over?
I started this thing at 7 o'clock this morning, and within the first 30 minutes, I had Josh Leibowitz join me.
Oh, and, wonderful!
He talked about the anger of people and why everybody is angry about everything. You know. Yeah,
and, it's probably a good subject.
It is. It's a great subject because the whole world seems to be angry, and they don't seem to want to understand that there are better things to do than be angry. You know.
Right, and that's a great topic. You could talk about that all day long. First off, let me put out there, as you may or may not know, I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered Republican just so I can vote in the primaries in California because we're one of the states where independents can't vote in the primaries and stuff. So if you call me a Republican, I'm going to rebuff you right away.
Well, that takes care of that.
Right. So anyways, yeah, I mean, one of the things I have noticed is a total split in the United States. And a lot of things don't get put out there accurately to the people all over the world. And a lot of times there's a lot of misconception in other nations about what's really going on in America. You can't believe exactly what's going on in the media 100% of the time. You gotta move around some of the stations. And I'm a political junkie, and I listen to Fox News, but I also tune into CNBC, MSNBC, all the cable channels over here. I want to get a balance and stuff like that because that's the fair thing to do. If you really want to be educated about politics in America, don't just watch one show because you will be inundated by what they want you to hear.
Exactly.
So. So with that being said, people need to be educated more than ever. And with all the media out there available, all the political shows on cable, regular TV, and digital air in America, because everybody has access to some sort of news, whether it's radio or whatever, you need to understand what's being said out there. And some of the political leanings and the direction of the country. I mean, some of it's pretty obvious, like you were talking about in the chat room about tax on soda in New York. They really passed that?
Yeah, it's not the tax on soda. They banned large sodas in the city of New York.
Oh, good God!
They literally banned sodas larger than a 16-ounce soda. So the restaurants cannot sell, restaurants and places like that cannot sell a 24-ounce or a 32-ounce large sodas. All large sodas are banned in New York because he's claiming that it'll help people. It'll help our obesity problem.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's like blaming a car for causing accidents. People do. People have choices. What I find fascinating is about here. I'm going to touch on something that's going to piss off some people, but Michelle Obama is going around telling everybody to eat vegetables. They got their own garden, which just mysteriously was in the. I don't know how she grew it in 3 weeks, but she had a full-blown garden when she moved into
that's because they
White
brought
House.
it in full grown and planted it.
There you go. Well, my point with that, with the food police, is she's out there preaching about eating carrots and this and that and the other thing. Have you seen her backside? It's bigger than a Buick.
I know.
So somebody telling me it's like an alcoholic telling me stop drinking. I mean, it's ridiculous. People are adults. Give them the information. And by now, here's the other thing. Smoking, I could give a crap if you smoke or not. It's being taxed. Everybody knows it's bad. Okay? And the banning in buildings, I don't have an issue with that. But we've got, I think, Santa Monica, if I'm not mistaken. Santa Monica or Huntington Beach.
Santa Monica, Huntington Beach.
It's illegal to smoke in public anywhere, not only on the pier, the beach, the city. And that's going a little bit too far. That's like saying you can't fart in an elevator now.
Well, give them time. Like I said in my last thing, give them time, and they'll put out breathing devices that measure the amount of oxygen you take in, and you'll have to pay for it. All right.
Well, carbon offsets is what that is. That's a big scam. These big industries, and it's coming, they're already playing the game now with the global warming thing about paying for carbon offsets. If you're a gross polluter, you can buy this, that, and the other thing. That's just a liberal way of feeling good about polluting the world. And, it's totally ridiculous. And that's, we're going on a totally new subject there.
Oh, yeah. It's just unbelievable the different things people are doing to justify their existence and their jobs, and especially these high-paying jobs. These crazy people up there in the scientific world that are doing these stupid studies, that are spending my hard-earned tax money,
sure,
deciding whether or not I can have a soda or not.
Yeah, that's ludicrous. I mean, and here's what's happened in the past 4 years. I've noticed here. The DC has always been a joke at some level. I mean, all politics are. Let's be honest. All over the world, we've got some issues with the way people run their business as far as talking about their country or whatever. But laws here are getting just totally out of hand. I mean, we've got so many restrictions and stuff, which is killing our economy. And that's one of the issues is the big government getting involved with all assets of your life. I don't want them in my life. I don't want them to tell me, how much Coke I can drink and all that stuff. And that's a big deal over here. And we'll work our way back around about being split. But I'd like to find out your idea. I mean, you live in California too, and I did the math on the pump. I put in gas the other day, which was, I think, $4.12 in California here. And
average right now is $4.17.
37 cents of that money, 37 cents goes to taxes, state and federal. 37 cents a gallon.
Are you sure it's 37 cents? I think it's more than that.
I'm pretty sure 30 some odd cents for federal, and then whatever the state puts in. It's ridiculous.
There's state taxes, there's city taxes, there's county taxes. Okay, and then to top that off, there's another tax that is involved. That's a federal that people don't know about, and it's called clean air tax. Believe it or not, it's part of the taxes.
Is that what they post on the pump, or is that something else?
That is something else that's not posted anywhere.
All right, and that's where it's a pass on the savings to the customer, and that's where that comes in.
Exactly.
And every time, it's all exponential out here in California. Every time the gas prices go up and anything like that, Well, it affects everything. It's a chain reaction, and California is always the first one to pump up the prices too.
Yep. Prices. Well, that's just like they shut down a couple of production locations in Louisiana. Okay, and immediately rose the price of gasoline.
You know what's interesting about that?
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Our nation, and you're right, to your point, our nation doesn't depend on Louisiana oil. Most of that goes shipped out overseas.
Yep, it
so
is.
it's a game. It's a game. Somebody sees a little chink in the armor there and uses it and says, "Oh, it's because of this." And this is going to be a good segue to what kind of pissed me off about the embassy thing going on. They're saying that the embassy, in fact, I wrote a rant on my page. It just drove me nuts because we've seen this monkey before dressed up in a different clothing. But here we are with, they're saying that the riots over there in the Middle East in 3 different countries, actually they found out it's 36 different places that had riots. Coincidentally, all around 9/11. Now, you're going to tell me all 36 of these countries coordinated together against America because of a movie? No. It was expected. It's 9/11. Some of these people plainly hate America. They hate democracy. And it's not just America. They hate the fact that we're talking about the Muslims out there that got their little jihad going on. They hate us. You can't negotiate with people like that. So it really was kind of a pisser for them to say that, well, it's about a movie and it's not about American policy.
Right.
Yes, Mr. Obama, it's about American policy because you're American. You're not Muslim. There's no way for us to negotiate with them. Unfortunately, the normal people in that country suffer because of these radicals. And that's the quandary for us and everyone else in the world.
Hang on, I got somebody that wants to come in and assist in this discussion. Okay? I'm going to add him to the conference.
Go ahead.
All right, let's see here. There he is.
Mr. Tim.
Yeah, he's going to be joining us here with this conversation and whatever else he would like to speak with. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Yes, sir, my brother. I can hear you loud and clear.
Good.
Well, let me let Les continue on, and then we'll turn this into a 3-way conversation.
Sure. I just wanted to point menage a trois conversation only. Hands above the waist, Tim. Anyways, the hypocrisy of some of the stuff that comes out of our nation really drives me nuts. And it's not just limited to Obama. It's Bush quite frankly pissed me off his last 2 years in there, being the way he was. He was a spender in a conservative clothing. This guy was a moderate, and he's the one that actually started the whole debt thing going. And I'll agree with liberals on that part. But then again, keep in mind, the Democrats ran the Congress. Now back to the whole thing where Tim will jump in about the unrest all over the world here. The way it's being handled right now in the media is totally political, and this is the part that drove me nuts. And specifically, and after this, I'll let Tim chime in, I was absolutely appalled that they would turn the death of an ambassador into a ceremony and to a political statement, but then brutally attack Mitt Romney for having any comment on the situation.
And the apology.
So I'll leave it there and let you guys give it. Let me find out what you guys are thinking about that.
And what I heard of it as an apology really ticked me off. But anyway, go ahead, Tim.
Well, I don't know if I have anything to say about that because I've heard a lot of different things about it. I just think it's it'll lead into what I was going to say. I keep hearing the media telling me to be tolerant. that I need to be tolerant of other religions and other beliefs and the way other people think and all of this stuff. And then I see stuff like this happen, you know, with this film going on, and then all this violence, and one of our ambassadors getting killed. You know, we're told to be tolerant. I keep hearing that freaking word, and it's starting to piss me off. It's like, where was the tolerance when the guy from Chick-fil-A come out and said what he believed was, you know, marriage?
Good point. Very good point.
You know, there was no tolerance there, okay? On top of that, I don't know how many people have heard that a gay man went into a conservative group's building in Washington right after this Chick-fil-A thing happened, and he had 15 Chick-fil-A sandwiches in his backpack, and he went in there and started shooting up people. How many people have heard of that? Was that on the media?
I haven't heard that one.
No, wasn't on
You
the
haven't
media
heard
that I
that
can-
one.
no.
Look it up. I got it. You can find it.
It's
Gay,
ridiculous.
you just put in "gay man shoots up conservative in Washington." You'll find it on Google. But you never heard that on the news, did you?
No.
Well, you're being fucking brainwashed by the media, folks.
Yep, that's a fact.
I mean, that is a case in point right there. You're being brainwashed by the media. No one has even heard of this guy going in and shooting up a conservative political party in Washington. Okay? But, okay, he goes in and shoots up people. You haven't heard of it. But a man that owns Chick-fil-A gives his opinion of what marriage is, and it's worldwide fucking news. You
Yeah,
tell me we're not
that's a
being
good point.
brainwashed.
And that goes to show the hypocrisy of the media. And you know, it's nothing new, but there's so many people, there's so many zombies out there looking at the tube, thinking that is word, that everything that comes across there is true. And to be quite frank, you know, Fox even has a lean. I mean, let's face it, the owner is a conservative, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we needed a voice. When I say we, I consider myself conservative. I side with the Tea Party and their beliefs. I'm a Reagan constitutionalist. I'm one of those guys. I want the government out of my life, and you know, just respect my opinion. I respect other people's opinions, like you're talking about, Tim. I'm tolerant, but I don't have to be force-fed stuff I disagree with. If
Correct.
I think something's morally wrong, I've got the right to say that without being labeled a bigot or a racist or this or that. And it's so
Correct.
easy for that other side to label you, to stop the debate. So where was the tolerance with the Chick-fil-A? There was no tolerance. The guy wasn't even talking in a political context. He was being interviewed, so it had nothing to do with his business. And you know, you can disagree with somebody, yet get along with people. And you know, the gay marriage thing is caused a big issue in a lot of different places. I mean, you're a homophobe if you're against it. Well, let's face it. A traditional marriage is between a man and a woman. It was a religious tradition. It's not a right. You don't have a right to be married. So, with that in mind, you know, why can't you respect my opinion? And you know, I don't want to be called a homophobe or get labeled. I mean, but that seems to be what happens from that side to stop the debate. If you disagree, zero tolerance, and you get labeled.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the when we had the big vote here on the Amendment 1 about, you know, the gay marriage thing here in North Carolina. You know, when we voted against it, I got all kinds of stuff shot to me on Facebook that was just, it was not nice. Shot to me because I live in North Carolina.
Right, right.
And little did anybody know that if I would have went and voted on it, which I didn't, I would have voted against the amendment. Because it's already illegal in North Carolina for a man and a man to get married. Okay, so it really wasn't about that. It was about the state taking away the benefits from homosexual partnership or whatever. That's what it was about. There was going to be a
Right.
lot of benefits taken away from kids that live with these parents, and I was against that. You know, I mean, I'm against. I believe that a marriage is between a man and a woman, but if you're going to give all these benefits to all these other people, or there's kids in these families that need these benefits too. You know, like if you're a state worker and you're homosexual, you can't get benefit, you can't get insurance for the kids in your family if you have kids. Well, I don't believe that's right.
Here's something that Shelley had to say in the chat room. Shelley says, when the state and federal government got involved in marriage and started giving tax breaks and benefits for married people, they took it out of the church.
Correct. And here's the other thing, and you may or may not know, there is domestic partnership laws out there for most federal agencies in many states, and what domestic partnership is basically same-sex couples. They get medical benefits or dental or some kind of life insurance through their company. So I for one am a little bit baffled as why anyone would want to have gay marriage recognized, because they're already able to get some benefits. And in fact, the domestic partnership thing is far-reaching. It's I think almost, well, every federal employee I think is entitled to it. So what is there actually to gain from same-sex marriage? I'm a bit confused, and unless it's what you're saying, where if there's a child involved in it, adopted or however the case may be, they would be benefited by that.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. And in North Carolina, that's what the amendment was about, to take those benefits away from the same-sex or same-sex partnership or whatever the hell it's called. But going back to what I started about the brainwashing, the people in North Carolina, to them, it was to ban same-sex marriage. That's all it was about. That's what they were told in the media, you know. And the other side was just as bad. I mean, they shouted, you know, why can't the same sex get married? The other side was, no, we don't believe in that, which is fine. But that wasn't even what the damn vote was about.
Right.
You know,
If that was,
because like I said, it's already illegal in North Carolina for same-sex marriage. So, but they got frickin' brainwashed. So what we did in turn is we voted the benefits away from these people. But it's a frickin' brainwashing, man. It's the damn media that's doing it. People are not taking the time to educate themselves on what the hell they're voting for.
right,
Period.
and that's where a lot of people are misinformed, because as a nation, I think only 13% are recognized as homosexual or bisexual. So it's a very small population, yet look at the forefront of politics these people hold. And whether you agree or disagree, and you know, on something like that, I don't think a minority group of people should dictate the conversation in America. Not
True.
like that. You've got a voice.
Yesterday.
You've got a voice. Everybody should have a voice, but you know, people. Well, let's bring up example the Arizona incident with illegal immigration, which is another hot topic these days.
Oh, jeez.
Over 60% of America agreed with that policy, and it was a federal policy to begin with, and less strict than the federal policy. Where was the outcry then? But here you have this administration always on the wrong side of the argument, and this is what's split the country. These little stupid issues that were non-issues being brought to the forefront, and our current administration always being on the wrong side. Look at the Twin Towers thing in the mosque. That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find that today's voting isn't done by actual issues anymore. It's done by feelings and heart. You know, people aren't taking the time, like has been said, that they're not taking the time to educate themselves on what's going on with this vote, whatever it might be whatever you might be voting on, whether it be a presidential election or voting for mixed sex or same sex marriage. It's all being done with their feelings instead of thinking about actually what's going on. And in doing so, that's where the television stations and the news outlets and the newspapers, and that's what they take their papers toward, the feelings of the different people that are out there, instead of actually putting out what is the real deal.
Right, and to be fair, both sides are that way. I mean, you've got those idiots out there, protesting funerals and stuff, and it's just it's nuts. It's just nuts how some of these people can think. But that's America. I mean, that's the U.S. You've got a right to be an asshole, and quite frankly, we've got a lot of assholes out there. Pardon my French. And that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, in the past 4 years, we have been so divided. What?
Did you call me?
Did I call you?
Yeah, you said asshole.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
can be
Go ahead.
one
I'm
too.
sorry. I thought you said something to me.
Yeah, no. Got your attention, didn't I? Anyways, the point is, we need to step back and breathe. There's too many people digging in trenches instead of coming across and talking. And what started off, in my opinion, this whole digression from conversation in America today, 4 years later, is the Democrats and the whole Obamacare debacle, where the Republicans were totally shut out of the conversation. Wasn't even at the top 10 issues, healthcare in America, and they went against the people. They went against us. It did backdoor deals. The union didn't even like it. That's why they had backdoor deals, and got waivers on it.
And like I said earlier, it's nice that the government workers don't have to have Obamacare.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for them,
they got
but
a
it's
choice
good
and we
enough
don't.
for right, exactly.
Well, the way I read it, active workers. Okay, I'm a retired soldier, and accordingly, I have to get it.
That's nice.
Wait a minute. I
Right.
thought I was given health benefits for the rest of my life when I joined the service.
Well, everybody's got a choice, right?
Yeah. No,
We know a lot about the vets, just like that picture I put up there.
Yeah. It's
50 vets and the DNC on stage with Russian ships and MiG-29s flying in the background.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid.
What a disgrace, in my opinion. Funny, but disgraceful too.
Yeah, and I think it's disgraceful the way we're dealing with our soldiers and how we're taking care of them.
Very.
The average soldier right now gets 5 years of full coverage after he gets out of the service, and then he's on his own.
Yeah.
And there are some soldiers out there who's going to need taking care of for the rest of their lives. How are they going to maintain that? It's going to be almost impossible for them.
Right, and
But the politicians get benefits for life, don't they?
Oh yeah, politicians
Right.
get benefits for life. They get
Good for them.
retirement pay for life. Okay.
And they're the ones that vote this stuff in, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
They voted it in themselves.
Yes, they got a separate program, so they don't have to eat that. In fact, it's what drives me crazy about this whole thing is when Pelosi was on stage there and saying you have to read the bill to know what's in the bill. Now, how irresponsible is that by government to say to the millions of people in America, you have to read the bill to know what's in it? That's what happened. That open and transparent and honest, clearing the swamp statement that those people made. It's just it baffles me, man.
Yep. And you talk about raises and money issues. It's funny that and now this is a law. Believe me, I've actually looked it up when it was placed into the garbage back 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but Congress set up a vote for a raise to Congress, and the rest of all those representatives, everybody gets a pay raise. And instead of voting on it, all they had to do is not vote, and it became law.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love that one.
Yeah, that is actual. That is actual. A true story. They had a vote for and nobody wanted to.
They don't want to be on record for voting something that
for
could
voting-
be controversial.
Yeah, they didn't want to vote on the thought that they're going to vote their own pay raise in and be ridiculed by the people. So they didn't vote, and the people didn't realize it, but they got the raise anyway, simply because they did not vote.
And they're off the record.
And
There
it's
you go.
off the record. No, we didn't vote for that. It just happens that the law says it happens anyway.
Yeah, and you know something? Americans really need to do a little more research about their own politicians and stuff in their state and who represent them. We had a debacle a couple of years back in California where people left the state so they wouldn't have to vote. That happened in D.C. also. And just coincidentally, it was the Democratic side. They left the state so they couldn't convene and vote on an issue.
Exactly.
That is disgusting. Totally disgusting.
It happened.
And
happens
where
in
was the
Congress all
media
the time.
report on that? They said, "Oh well, we can't find them," but it was no hubbub like in past if something went down with let's say a Republican.
Yep, kind of like the guy shooting up the people in Washington. Nobody ever heard nothing about it.
Tim,
Right.
did you have a specific subject that you wanted to bring up, or have you brought your subject up?
Well, the first one was tolerance.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one is taxes.
Oh, God,
Okay.
here we go.
Okay, before you start, I'm going to grab some coffee, go right into it,
Some
buddy. But I'll
coffee.
be back in 2
All right.
shakes of lamb's tail.
Either I'm going to educate or you guys are going to educate me. One or the other is going to happen here. Okay, we got Democrats that I keep hearing say that if you put Romney in there, he's going to give tax breaks to the rich. Okay? I keep hearing that over and over and over. I keep hearing he's just like Bush. But let me just tell everybody, by the way, I never liked Bush, never voted for him, couldn't stand the man, so don't blame me for Bush. But I keep hearing he's going to give tax breaks to the rich just like Bush did. Well, am I right or am I wrong, but did Bush not give tax breaks to the rich, to the middle class, and to the poor? And we are still getting those tax breaks to this day?
As far as I remember, yeah.
Okay, so something ain't right about that.
Of course.
Okay, number one. Number two, the Democrats, they keep saying, the Republicans will raise taxes, blah, blah, blah. Number one, I got a Democratic governor here in North Carolina, and she ain't done nothing but raise freaking taxes since she's been in damn office on everything. Okay? Number two, if you don't want to raise taxes on the American people, then why the hell do you want more government?
Exactly.
Because if you have more government, somebody's got to pay for that shit.
You got
Okay? So in turn, you're going to have to raise taxes. So your whole party's thinking don't make sense to me.
No,
How
none of
can you
them.
have more government and not raise taxes? Okay?
Yeah.
All right, on the same tax thing. In America, the top percent of the rich people in America, whatever the percentage is, they pay 67% of the taxes in America.
I think that's more than their fair share.
67%. Okay? So why should they, who the hell you think's paying the taxes in America? And, okay, here's a good
my
example.
my little $45 or a month isn't doing shit.
Right. In France, they're going through the same thing. The poor thinks the rich is taking over France. Blah blah blah. They just elected a man because he said he's going to tax the rich more.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the rich over there before this man was elected were paying 50% in taxes, not 50% of the government's. Everything they make, if they make $1 million, they pay $500,000. Okay? Well, this man has now signed a bill to where they're going to pay 75% in taxes. Okay? 75% of their earnings is going to go to taxes. Well, these rich people in France are bailing. They're moving to Belgium. They're putting their citizenship somewhere else. Okay? When all the rich people in France bail on France, who the hell you think is going to pay the taxes over there then?
Exactly.
Okay,
Well,
that's the same thing that's going to happen over here, folks. If you keep saying that we need to tax the rich more, the rich are going to have citizenship somewhere else.
Why do you
and the
think we
damn
got
taxes
jobs
are going to go back to the poor and middle class.
Why do you think we got jobs going out of the country?
Well, we got that because Clinton signed that fucking NAFTA bill.
Well, that too.
Yeah, well,
It all adds up. It all adds together. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it all adds together. I mean, look at what we did here, what's going on here in the state of California as well. You know, you look and there. How much was that, Lester? With $35 billion in hidden.
Yeah, they found some money in a fund, and I think part of that was that the light rail thing. But anyways, they took the tax passed. They generated millions of dollars. I don't know the exact amount, and found out they had a surplus. They didn't need the bill to start with. Oh, how convenient!
Yeah, how convenient can they? And
now,
then put it away in a hidden fund.
They're diverting that to something else.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the taxes. I still say, and I'm going to continue to say, in my lifetime, I believe in my lifetime, if I make it to 2025, we will have a civil war here in the United States over taxes and government. I am almost in my heart believing that, and I see the writing on the wall when you're starting talking about government control and taxes, and it's going to happen in the same fashion, same way as what happened in 1776. Okay.
Yeah, and this is a monster that's been growing since the '60s too, and we can all thank FDR for part of this. He was actually a socialist. This guy screwed America up more than anyone knows. People need to go back and research FDR, who did a lot of good things, but also put us on the nanny state direction. And right now, with it isn't really the taxes, to change up my mode here. And most people don't mind paying taxes. It's what the government does with it and what they're asking taxes for and adding stuff for. I mean, there's too many social programs out there that they started out with a good idea to help people, this, that, and the other thing. They've turned into rights now for some of these people. As an example, and this is going to be a big can of worms, welfare. There's so much fraud on welfare. That is the largest cost behind administration. And that's what's out of control. Where the money's going, how it's being abused, not necessarily the taxes, because I don't mind paying taxes. I just don't want to pay for free condoms in high school.
Right. True that.
I don't want to pay, agreed. I don't want to pay for Nancy down the road that's got 18 kids because she couldn't close her legs long enough. I don't want to pay for her kids. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love kids. I think kids should be taken care of. But there's a point where you've gone overboard. Okay? And the bad part about it is, they've gone overboard in the fact that they had these kids on purpose. Right.
Okay? It's sad that we've got a welfare culture that's this culture has been in existence since the late 60s. We've seen the rise in that. And we go through these cycles here in America in the economy. And you probably are well aware of the Carter administration, where they were rationing gas. I mean, odd number of days to fill up your tank with your license plate and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of these social things started coming in, because we were in such a recession. They wanted to get more. Okay, here's the thought. Nobody's working, so let's tax more. We're repeating that. This is Jimmy Carter 2.0 with Obama. More taxes, more government. Government doesn't create jobs, and the tax you don't spend what you don't have. I don't have that luxury. And by the way, I just want to point out, Chaos Lord, this subject is near and dear to his heart. That the whole welfare thing. There's a lot of people out there that are just totally pissed off about the whole situation. We need to fix it.
Yes, we do. Hey, okay, folks, let's go ahead and break this. We need to have a song or two in here to calm everybody down a little bit, as I know we've got everybody wanting to rant, and I've got about 20 minutes left of the show. So let me throw a couple of songs on here to get everybody calmed down a little bit, and we'll come back, okay?
Hey kids, DJ 3M2 here. As you may or may not know, Artist International Independent Radio.net is an organization. As such, we depend solely on your generosity to help us out here and keep the doors open. On the front page of AIRradio.net, there's a donate button. By clicking that button and donating dollars, euros, or yen, you'll be helping out all these independent artists from all over the world. All the DJs on AIRradio.net volunteer their time. So see what you can do to help out this station. Keep the music flowing right here on Artist International Independent Radio.net and donate. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, we're back. Yes, sir, everybody. And I think I still got my guys on on Skype.
Here and a present.
Okay, great. Folks, today's show was mainly set up so that the listeners out there. Now, I know we had DJs on.
Still here.
And we all talked, and we said a few things. We had one listener on. I want to get you listeners out there to get involved. If you have something to say, come join me here on AIIRadio.net. We're going to do this again in 1 month. And I'm going to, again, open this up for 4 hours, do a show with nothing but ranting. And if you have something to say, come join me. And all you have to do is call me up on Skype. And my Skype name is AIIR Mountain Man. All you have to do is search it up, and you can get me. All you have to do then is send me a request to join up with you. And join up with me, and I'll bring you on here live and let you say anything you want to say. It doesn't matter. Guys, great talk here. We've got a lot of information out. We've said a lot of things about a lot of places. I'd like to get some people in here from other countries to talk about their politics, their police problems, or their simple problems, whatever they might be, and get them to join in and make this a worldwide event instead of just a U.S. event.
Yeah, I like that idea. And what's interesting about that, you get firsthand opinion from somebody who's living there, aside from the media sent out there. Because a lot of people don't quite understand the individual person in whatever country you might be representing about their day-to-day life. And I'm just a regular working schmuck. I'm out there doing the 9-to-5 thing. And it's nice to have a platform to, let some of the stuff out. So I appreciate you inviting us on, Fred.
Yeah, I'm glad to have both of you on. I'm glad to have everybody that showed up join me and throw their comments out there. And remember, people, these comments are the sole responsibility of the individuals stating them.
And do not necessarily reflect the views of AIRradio.net or the corporation existing.
Exactly.
And if you have any hate mail, please send it to nickkatona.com.
Do you have any hate mail? You can send it to me. I'll accept anything. I I do a very good job of deleting things.
Yes.
Yeah, you can mail any comments you might have about this show to mountainman@AIIRadio.net and let me know what you think. And if you think that we should go deeper or go farther with this show, please let me know. Hey,
let me just interject one more thing, Fred. This whole thing, and Fred and I we've done this before. It's to invoke your brain. It's to get you to think about things, no matter what side you're on.
Yeah.
Opinion counts, and as long as we can get people out there thinking about stuff and getting involved in things, I think that truly needs to happen, not just in America, but around the world.
Yeah.
Be informed, get involved, and your opinion has purpose.
Yeah, our opinions are meant to. We sit up here and talk to let you know what we think. Now, what we think, it's just like assholes. Everybody has one. Our opinions are just like an asshole. So take it with a grain of salt. Listen to what we're saying, and if you have something to say and you don't think we're right, join the show. It's that simple. Come on in and join the show. We're not going to dog you for it. We want you to be able to say what you feel.
We won't dog you bad.
No, we're not going to dog you. Just a little bit.
I got one more thing to say, and then I'll shut my mouth. This kind of goes with what Les was saying. If you vote, educate yourself on who you're voting for. Make sure you know what your views are, and make sure who you're voting for shares those same views, and don't be led by the media. That's all I got to say.
It's there, Tony. So get yourself all ready. Guys, thank you so very much for joining me and making this show happen. You are awesome.
No problem. And I got one thing to say before we go. I listen to DJ Tony because I am Spartacus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mountain Man saying